Hey guys, it's Celine. I hope my camera is kind of clean. I think it'll be okay. I'm outside, as you can see, right? It's just a parking space for the sports fields that are over there that I'm at. And I suddenly felt like this is the right time, okay? Because I have little windows of time where I'm actually sort of more or less where I feel I can actually talk to the internet without, not making any sense at all. That happens. It happens to me like everybody else. And I just have small windows. So here's one. Today's Thursday, the 26th it is of October. I am out checking for mushroomies. There's a couple here and there. Very late season again. I have seen a couple of flycaps that are quite pretty. They're very slow. Everything seems really slow. It has also been quite warm for the longest time. So everybody's saying that the summer season extends, more and more into what used to be known as autumn, September, where, you'd get a feel of autumn approaching at least. Not so now. So that's kind of strange, and you can worry about it, or you can just leave it as is. I don't know. I have been really absent from my channel all of this year, actually, and I try to keep my channel alive as well as I can. Priorities, sometimes get in the way. And I also really wonder what it is that I can add to the internet, what with my life and my experiences and my style of doing things that I have. I often feel way too old for this world. And I'm getting to 60. So yeah, there's that. Other than that, there have been huge things going on that I might be able to talk about at this point. Why not? Let's just have a dig at it, at least. As you may have seen, I have been studying demons this year. Boy, in my own special manner, I managed to make it all really personal and sometimes quite painful as well. And the things I do, so I have several videos from this year, from this summer, okay, where I go into why I do this and more or less what it is that I'm doing, to the extent that I can even talk about it, because it's just really emotional. And I have wondered whether the term demons is any good, really. It's just that you might as well say spirits. It has been quite a handful. It has really been very intense in ways I couldn't even begin to imagine. And recently, so without going into too much detail, let's say that in general what happens is that I get I'm interested in a particular figure for a while, into a particular atmosphere. I'm introduced to that in like a vision state of some sort, like a dream state. And then I practice Tumo and Chud at the moment as well, which are Tibetan approaches to energy work, and that I've documented. The Tumo process I've documented a couple of times already on my channel over the past couple of years. I've also done regular updates and things like that. At the minute, it's more or less like my Tumo is just a daily meditation routine. It's fairly healthy, I suppose, and beneficial, certainly. It helps with my menopause situation that would have been a lot less easy to manage if I hadn't had my Tumo. So there's that. But it it's just like that kind of a meditation practice has a will of its own. Okay, so it brings you places that you would never in your wildest dreams have visited yourself. And certainly if you'd been asked before, and you'd probably have said, what the hell, what am I supposed to do with all that? And you can only make the best of it as you just trudge along through these things. That's what's been happening for me. So I've been really slow, really emotional, really intense, really over the top, and overwhelmed most of the time. So that's me. That's why I haven't shown my face, like, at all, most of the time. And when I say demons, it is like we're talking sort of forces that have power over people, but more as groups of people. So we are all subject, I am also subject, to their influence. And what I'm seeing, so in terms of the philosophy behind it all at the moment, what I'm seeing is that it's mostly really positive, even though the situations that we as humans get into can be stupid and painful and endless suffering. And you see other people suffer as well, and it's just a nightmare. And why even, So my vision of that in the long term, and sort of in a broader perspective that I'm getting most of the time, is actually becoming more hopeful from dealing with demons. Yes, incredibly. It is becoming more hopeful and more like there's a point to it all. There's distantly hidden from us, and especially when you're underneath it all, what I see is that what we call demons historically, okay, what they've been called demons historically, whether you're talking Goetia, so that's one particular approach, like magic, okay, from a couple of centuries back, or even figures like Lucifer and Beelzebub and those kinds of figures, What I am seeing is that each of them has a particular sort of special vibe, or a field, a field in which they work. And the way it works is that, so without going into all the tumo and chud and how that works, because that'll take us the rest of the day, okay? What you get is that why it's a problem, and why we don't, why a lot of our lives are stuck in repeat mode with problems and codependency, narcissism, pain, things like that. The cause of that is that there's a network of several of these different levels of spiritual forces at work, and you have to sort of start from yourself up on outward and upward, working at one level at a time. For me, recently, there's been a level where the very substance of my own consciousness has been challenged. So yeah, that was kind of really weird, and I had to watch myself fall apart again, where I have worked really hard over the past 5 years or so to put myself into some semblance of order. Thank you very much, I wasn't going to fragment it all over again. I had been defragmenting for a lot of the time, yes? So I wasn't too happy about that. And then apparently it's something I can do with that. I can also pull myself back together again. And I get to see that the forces that make people obsess over things, for example, or that make people, once you get a hold of this vibe, okay, this particular vibe, you start finding it really strange that people do the same thing inside over and over. For some reason, it's like it makes a lot of sense that there is such a thing as a contract which a lot of people subscribe to. I have not seen myself evidence of spiritual contracts necessarily, but maybe I just haven't gotten to that yet for myself. It's quite possible. But I see a lot of people in the same kind of pain and in the same kind of travail, where they wouldn't have to be. It might be easier to change yourself than you think. But it's because we subscribe to particular attitudes, and a whole lot of that, and that's not news to you or a lot of other people, is that it's family karma. Okay, so because our parents and our grandparents and their parents did things in a particular way and had a particular way of focusing on things, and where, for example, paying attention to a child or not can be either given as a reward or in payment of good behavior and things like that, or it can be dangerous, and the attention that the child gets can feel threatening because of the experiences that they've had. Just a tiny example. There's traffic noises out there. What I see from this attention notion of things is that a lot of people walk a small, narrow, safe path around each other a lot of the time. So have I. I've always done that. I have done nothing else but tread very carefully, like on eggshells. So, but it turns out that for me, this particular demonic representation, this particular spirit field, got opened up for me because of the work that I've done. And if I start describing the whole work, I will be here the rest of the day. So I'm not going to do that. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to show my face again and to show you that I'm still alive and that what it is that I have been doing. I've been doing several, little tarot things. I have done a recent video that nobody seems to have wanted to watch, is about the Witchy house spread. I'm still busy with that. I still have to actually pull my cards for the day. Yesterday, the cards that came out were very applicable to my situation as was, and not to the prompt from the Witchy house spread at all. So that took me a minute to realize that my decks were talking to me and not to the spread. So the rest of the day was interesting, and I am still very glad to be in this path, and it's difficult sometimes, and I wish there were people to talk to who understand what it is that I'm doing, or at least part way, and maybe nobody really does that too much on YouTube, do they? Just to say, please come and talk to me. Maybe I am intimidating. Because a lot of people are intimidated because of the whole attention thing. Maybe I'm just nuts. It's quite possible and quite likely. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna bundle it up right here and continue on with my walk, and hopefully find a couple more interesting looking mushrooms. Okay, see you next time. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.